Silent.
Silence!
Let's roll.
Yes, camera is rolling.
Hi, this is Deepika Padukone for Brut. I don't think what I'm asking for is ridiculously unfair, and I think only someone who's worked in the system enough will know that the conditions that we work in, and I'm saying this as, if I may say so myself, a top star. So you can only imagine what the working condition must be like for everyone else. The Indian film industry, there are a lot of actors, male actors, who've been working on an 8-hour shift for years and it's never made headlines. So, sure, I mean,
Do you think it's a gender thing, or did you think of like the repercussions? Did you say, I'm a star, how am I going to be perceived?
Honestly, it took several months because I was also trying to hide it. I wasn't telling anyone. I wasn't telling my parents about it either, because I think first it's like, what is happening to me? Trying to understand for myself.
Is it stress? Is it
What is it? Like, why am I not feeling like myself? You know, I think it's important for new mothers to also know that, to be aware and to know and be okay with embracing how they feel after they've had a baby or after they've had children.
Hello and welcome to this very special conversation. We are in Chhindwara in Madhya Pradesh with Deepika Padukone. She's an Indian cinema blockbuster star. She has walked the red carpet across the world, is a producer and a global icon. But today we are going to talk to her about the other side. She's been one of the loudest champions of mental health, largely through her Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, which completes 10 years. And that's what we're going to talk about on the grassroots level today. Deepika, thank you so much for speaking to Brut.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking you, it was 2015, your interview with Hindustan Times and then NDTV. You were probably one of the only and first stars to come out and speak about your, at that time, challenges with depression. What has the impact been after that on, you started the foundation, you've gone on to do larger, bigger things, not just in the industry, but personally as well. Take us through that journey a little bit.
Wow. So, my experience with mental illness was in 2014. And soon after, I did those interviews. But I think what I discovered in my journey to recovery was that I don't think my journey ended there. It felt like actually that was just the beginning. And it was very, very clear to me that this is where I was going to spend most of my energy moving forward. Because, you know, fame happens, success happens, but for me, it has always been about what do you do with that fame? What do you do with that success? And more importantly, it was something that was so deeply personal to me. And when I came out with my experience with mental illness, it was not as Deepika Padukone, the actor, but a person who happened to have reach and have a voice and just sort of say to anybody, even if it was one person who was experiencing or feeling the way that I had felt and not being able to identify what it was, that if they heard or read that one interview and felt like, oh my God, like I know exactly what she's saying, my purpose was met, you know. But then, of course, it didn't end there. So I did those interviews, and then, you know, when I realized that it was literally just a tsunami of, it just felt like a lot more work had to be done. And that's when I decided that, okay, I'm going to set up a foundation, and this is where I'm going to continue sort of focusing my energies on, because it's something that has been so deeply personal to me.
Did it, at that point in time, did you think of like the repercussions? Did you say, I'm a star, how am I going to be perceived? And also anecdotally, after you shared that publicly, anything that you can share with us today where people reached out and said, hey, I've gone through this.
Yes.
Give us a sense of that.
Yeah, so, sorry, what was the first part of the question?
The first part was the repercussion on your
No,
image.
never. And you know, that's such an, again, interesting question, because I get asked this question every single time about being brave. And I don't understand it, because I never approached it like that, oh, I'm some like big star and, you know, I'm coming like coming out with this big revelation. I've never viewed it like that. I've just really always viewed it as, okay, this is something that I experienced, that was deeply personal, that was very complex, because unlike other illnesses, it's not something that you can see. Whether it's diabetes or whether it's a fracture, you see these things. Mental illness is it's silent, it's invisible. And so no, I mean, I never thought of it as I'm going to go and do this.
It's like a brave
thing. It's just really what felt honest in that moment. And so that's that. And then
on the anecdote
part. On the anecdote, till today, I have people who come and refer to that interview, either the video interview or the print interview, or talk about the fact that how my speaking out has helped them understand mental health better, or help them have somebody else understand mental health better, say a parent. And that's what you want. You want people to be able to identify, because I went through that when, for several months, I had no idea I just didn't feel like myself. But at the same time, I had no idea what was happening to me. And it took several months for me to, honestly, it took several months because I was also trying to hide it. I wasn't telling anyone. I wasn't telling my parents about it either, because I think first it's like, what is happening to me? Trying to understand for myself.
Is it stress? Is it
what is it? Like, why am I not feeling like myself? Then the protective, like, I want to protect my parents. I don't want to tell them, because we live in a different city, and I don't want to tell them that I'm feeling this way. They'll start worrying. But then it obviously got to a point where my parents saw it, my mother saw it. And, I was very lucky to have someone like her understand it and then guide me in the right direction. So yeah, it's been 10 years, and a cause that I'm extremely passionate about. And even today, when anyone needs help, if they have any doubts or any sort of help, they're feeling low, they reach out. Sometimes it's because they want me to put them onto someone. Sometimes it's just about, what, you understand this, can we just share our thoughts and feelings with you? And there's nothing more gratifying than that.
I was speaking to your team. I was surprised to know that there are just 14 of them. And they're working across states on the ground level. Tell us a little bit, in these 10 years, any anecdotes that you've come across, how lives have changed. Your team was sharing with me in the morning when we came. You were already out in the field. You were meeting, I believe, two people who've benefited. And are now, I think, champions with you and your team. So I believe your foundation has done work in Odisha, Karnataka. We are, of course, in Madhya Pradesh. In these states. What has been the biggest challenges on the ground, and how do you convince families, stakeholders, to become part of this?
I mean, I would say maybe one of the initial challenges that we face is to find the right partners, because we have a model, but we also need the right partners to implement that. So I think finding the right partners is probably one of the biggest challenges. But surprisingly, I think in most of the states that we've worked in, they've all been so open to the idea of mental health. And sometimes surprising that we find it easier to communicate and to get through in rural India versus urban India.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that, you think?
Today was a great classic example. Two of our PWMIs who we met, people with mental illness, two of them who we've met are now champions. So you have, you have a lot of them who go to Babas and, think they're possessed, etc., etc. And then they have gone and spoken to them and said, we've gone to this district mental health center and we've gotten help and this is what it could be, etc. So they're now building their own community of spreading awareness, helping each other out. The ASHA workers go and, find these people, guide them, help them with their procuring their medication, in fact, one of them mentioned to me, they even ensure that they take their medication on time. And then we rehabilitate them. So it's literally a whole. In fact, Davangere for us is now a self-sustaining model. We've actually exited Davangere now because they've taken care of themselves.
So the community is on its feet, taking care of its own.
Of course, we'll always be there for whenever they need us. But I mean, the idea is to create a self-sustaining model where we come in, we do our intervention, handhold them, and when we feel like they've gotten a good hold of it, is when we move on and start helping other people out.
In rural grassroots level, any anecdotes you can share with us? Anything that stands out in these 10 years, which was a moment which has always remained with you?
I think when I've met people with mental illness, those who have been ostracized, and then post our intervention, they're sort of included, welcomed back into society almost, and they also find a way to be financially independent. I mean, that is, what more can one ask for, right? They earn their respect back, which never should have gone in the first place. But to be embraced by their society that they live in again, the community that they live in again, to be embraced, and to now be able to be confident to go out and face these people, and to also be, go out and work, whether it's farming, whether it's plate making, whether it's, sheep rearing, whatever it is. And the fact that, they're now today being able to be financially independent or support their families back, the same families that, probably spent a lot on their medication or their treatment. It's very difficult to just... I wish you had come to one of these homes.
Right.
It's very difficult to choose just like one anecdote. Yeah, but net, I think every time we do a ground visit, there is nothing more gratifying than that.
Nothing more gratifying than that. You just mentioned a little while ago that it's tougher in the metros and the towns versus working at the grassroots level when it comes to mental health. We have a lot of young audience. Gen Z is very careful about their mental health as well. But one question I wanted to ask you is, when did you know that this requires sort of maybe intervention, medical help, all of these other things, versus, I just need a little bit more balance in life, or, maybe I need to take care of my health physically better, or just stay occupied more, or there are a lot of questions on that.
I mean, I think a little bit of self-assessment is required, but a little bit of therapy will do no harm. Right. And
you advocated for everyone?
Absolutely. I mean, I advocated even for people if you've not experienced mental illness. It's not, I just think therapy and counseling is just good generally for us to understand ourselves better and to understand people better, to understand our thoughts, feelings, emotions. But beyond that, and I think if you go to a good therapist or a good counselor, they will be able to tell you whether it's more complex than that. And then, of course, I think all of that you have to sort of support that with your lifestyle, whether it's your sleep. And I know I keep saying this in every interview and probably just sounds so boring and repetitive, but it's true. My doctor's here today. He's been a part of our board from the time we founded the foundation. And the first questions he'll ask me, how is your nutrition? How is your sleep? How is your hydration? Are you exercising? Are you getting enough sunlight? This is the first question he'll always ask me.
These are top 5 things that are a given.
Yeah. Exercise, it could be anything. It could be yoga, it could be going for a walk. It doesn't have to be like, hectic working out in a gym, but being physically active, sunlight, sleep, hydration, nutrition. Yeah.
Deepika, you've spoken about, and I'm down to my last 2-3 questions. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll make it quick. Balance that you've spoken about, which is so important for mental health. You have advocated for an 8-hour work week as an 8-hour day, a working day as an actor. How important do you think that is? And my sub-question to that is, being a woman, when you ask for that, are you labeled as being, she's too difficult, why can't you just agree to this? How do you look at something like that, which is pretty basic everywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what I'm asking for is ridiculously unfair, and I think only someone who's worked in the system enough will know that the conditions that we work in, and I'm saying this as, if I may say so myself, a top star. So you can only imagine what the working condition must be like for everyone else, for the crew, for example. And, I think beyond that, I'm not the first one who's asked for something like this. In fact, there are a lot of actors within the industry and other industries as well, and other professions.
For sure, other professions, 100%.
Other industries. But even if we were to take just the Indian film industry, there are a lot of actors, male actors, who've been working on an 8-hour shift for years, and it's never made headlines. So, sure. I mean,
Do you think it's a gender thing, or?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if it's a gender thing or not. But, I mean, what I can definitely say is, what I'm definitely advocating for is just a better work-life balance and a better working environment and better working conditions. And if that doesn't work for somebody, we're not obligated to work with each other.
My last question to you is, you're a young mother, a new mother, and I want to ask you this from a mental health perspective. How do you see the conversation? We've had Serena Williams, others come out in the public domain, talk about postpartum depression. There are other aspects to it. I'd like to understand, do you think, which direction should the mental health conversation as mothers, be taken in? Anything that you can share for our audience?
Postpartum would sort of come under the larger umbrella of mental health and mental illness. And I think that today, thanks to social media also, not only, but also social media, I think there is a lot of awareness about postpartum and postpartum depression. And at least as far as I'm concerned, that's something that I was very conscious of because of my past experience. So something that I kept watching out for, any signs and symptoms.
Okay.
Fortunately, I've been okay so far. Sorry, but your question was?
What else needs to be done as far as women's health, mental health is concerned? I think preparing for a pregnancy, after a pregnancy, in that
I think more awareness. I mean, I don't think this. So I think as far as postpartum depression is concerned, I don't think it's any different from the larger umbrella that we're trying to cover. So I think as long as we're talking about, creating awareness and destigmatizing again, I think it's important for new mothers to also know that, to be aware and to know and be okay with embracing how they feel after they've had a baby or after they've had children. And if you're feeling differently from how you normally feel, I think to acknowledge that, to embrace that, to be aware of that. So I don't think it's different. It boils down to awareness and destigmatization again.
Deepika Padukone, thank you so much for speaking to Brut and sharing so candidly your journey with the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, and we wish it many, many more years of impact and success. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.